Okay, welcome to the Life Atelier podcast. I am your host, Emma Lavelle, and today is actually going to be a fairly short podcast episode. I promise you that because I have got chickpeas in the oven and I'm conscious of that and I need to get them out. I think chickpeas are my secondary food source after peanut butter. I also have a Rita next to me who's waiting to go out. But what I wanted to share with you today is about how to create a 3-day week. This is because we are starting 3-day week society this Friday. We have our first flow and glow working session. And I've got a video that I'm going to share on Instagram of me doing handstand. It's like a pretend handstand. It's not a real handstand. It was just for the gram on Saturday. But after the class, I had some time to think about it. And I thought, my God, there are so many similarities. The skills that we use to do a headstand in yoga are so similar to the skills that you're going to use if you decide to create a 3-day week. So, three things I'm going to share with you. They're the kind of main ones. And if you don't work for yourself, you don't have a 3-day week, just think about how to apply this to any project, to anything. The beautiful thing about the tools that I teach inside the Life Atelier is that you can apply them to anything, whether it is dating, it is improving your relationships, your experience with your energy, your friendships, traveling, your professional life, whatever it is, you're going to be using the same tools. Okay, we're always creating space so that we can really connect with what it is that we want and we can connect with how we're able to create that. We're investing in ourselves. So we're looking after our mind, our body, we're resourcing ourselves to give ourselves the best possible chance of success. And then we're activating belief. We're taking action from that space of caring for ourselves, of creating the foundations. I tried to say soil and foundations at the same time for success. Okay, we're not just leaping into something. I always use that example of like when I went up to the mountains and drove through the mountains, and I had my clothes from Madrid. And it was only when I got halfway up, like, yeah, I was really good at the activating and the doing things. Okay. I put my destination for Toulouse and I started to drive through the Pyrenees. Action, action, action. But it was only when I got there and I realized, if the car breaks down here, I'm going to have an interesting situation walking through snow and ice without waterproof shoes, right? So we can see clarity, that piece was there. I knew what I wanted. I'm going to Toulouse. I'm going to see if I want to live here. Activation, activating belief. Yeah, no problem. Get in the car, book the dog sitter, off we go. Investing in myself, thinking about what my body might need while I'm on this journey. That was very, very missing. So the coaching framework is a way to make sure it's like a dashboard almost, so that you can look at the process, you can look at what you're doing, and you can check in with these different points. And then you can see like, okay, adjust this, more of this is fine, this is good. Okay, and it just gives you that map to yourself, which is what we'll talk about with these three things that are the same, whether you're trying to do and you're learning to do a handstand in yoga or in life, or you're building a 3-day week. Okay. So the very first one is you bring curiosity to both instead of expectation. Now, one of the questions that I've had about the 3-day week is people having had bad experiences with other coaches, with other business strategists, and being sold a framework or a concept and then it failing, right? And this is exactly the situation. When we think that the steps to follow are how we're going to create a result, what happens is we start to imagine that result in our head and we close down other avenues. And this is why we always want to have curiosity. Okay, we expect to learn something, right? We're curious about what might happen, but we're not limiting what we expect to happen. Okay. Number two, and also the thing about curiosity is, as well as it opening up absolute maximum innovation and creativity, is it also keeps you away from fear. So if you think fear slows us down, fear starts to activate our nervous system and it creates friction. What we can then do is replace that fear with flow, by using curiosity. And there are really simple techniques, asking questions, right? Just starting to ask your brain questions switches your brain from like fear mode into play and curiosity mode. Number two, decide it's possible that it can happen. Okay, so a big part of dropping our expectations and saying that we'll let anything happen is also including in that the possibility that it can happen, it can be easy, right? If you are trying to do something new, there's one option where you drop the expectations of success, okay? And you're like, well, I'm going to try it just for the data, right? And in that situation, your subconscious is saying, yeah, I'm going to try it, but it's not going to work. In that situation, you are not going to give it your full focus, right? You're going to be half doing it. And I see so many people doing this, and it just kills me, right? They don't go all in. All in does not mean that you are hustling. It does not mean that you are forcing. It does not mean that you are free, like rigid and, this is going to happen, yes or yes. Okay. Instead, it means, it's very possible, right? If it's possible this isn't going to happen, I'm going to practice allowing the fact that it might also happen. And that if it happens, it will happen from a place of being ease. What that then does is it opens doors, and your brain will start to look at, okay, if it is possible and it is easy, let's just say, right? Let's just let this be an academic, a play, like a game where we explore this. Okay, I can see how it might be possible if I stop doing one-to-one calls, if I increase my prices, if I start to do that thing that I had the idea about, but I was scared to do it because nobody else in my industry is doing it. What if I'm the first person to do this and it's a success? Interesting. Okay, so you see how it takes your brain in a different direction, right? Really fun. Number three, take responsibility for falling and for trusting, right? Now, when I did the headstand lab on Saturday morning, I got to a certain point and I had no expectations. I was like, honestly, I don't know if my arms are strong enough, right? I don't know if my arms are strong enough to support my weight, but I'm going to go all in. Let's see, right? So I did the thing, like if you do a handstand, you start by you put your hands on the floor and then you like move your legs up the wall, okay? And then you lift your legs off the wall. And I got to a certain point, and then you do it with like your partner supporting your legs and like, yeah, different things, really fun. And I realized after a few minutes, number one, holy cow, like I'm closer to this than I realized. Okay. So I dropped the expectations and I stayed in curiosity. And then I decided that it's possible it might happen. Now, I had some evidence for this because the month before I'd done a headstand just for a second, right? But I did not think I'd be able to do a headstand. But I saw my yoga buddy do it next to me. I saw her surprise just before me, right? So again, this is why we want to be in a community so that we can see other people at different stages in the journey. I saw how like chill my yoga teacher, Steph, he was like, you can do this. Like I've been doing this for 5 years. I've seen like everybody does it. You're fine. And so his calm energy and him being the center of gravity for our energy in that room made me realize like, okay, I like Steph. I trust Steph. I don't think he's lying to me, right? If he is lying to me, I'll update my protocol and we'll think about if we want to continue with Steph, but I trust him. So I did have that bit of evidence from investing in my self-trust about who I trust the previous month, right? So we're constantly doing this. And I got to this point and then I came back and I realized in that second, I realized, oh, I need to learn how to fall because to get to the point that I can do a handstand, it is not possible, right? You do not go from not doing handstands to doing handstands without falling. Okay. So there's one way of looking at this, which is like, oh no, like I have to fall and I have to get through the fall and, like learn how to fall and it's going to be difficult. And then on the other side, or the other way of looking at it is fantastic. Now I know how to get there. I learn how to fall. I learn how to headstand. Okay, you see the opportunity. And this is what we're doing with the 3-day week society. We are actively looking for opportunities to fall because on the other side of that is what we want, right? And we can see that as a problem, or we can see it as an opportunity. We see it as an opportunity. Okay. So, uh, opportunity to fall, taking responsibility for, yes, I will look for those opportunities to fall. Knowing that it's possible, I learn how and I reach success, right? Maybe I fall once and that's all I need to do. And after that, I learn. Maybe I'm going to fall 100 times. And on the 101st time, I'll do my headstand. Do I want to do that? Yes. And if I don't, okay, we stop now, right? Trust, active trust. I realized that I needed to be able to trust the person supporting me, that they would actually see if I was going too far or not, because this is something that happens, right? We have blind spots in our brain, in our mind, purely because of the way our brains have been designed. In just the same way that we have these blind spots, I can't see the back of my head without a mirror. I can't. I don't know if you can, right? If you can, amazing. But I can't. So just because of the design, I will always need a mirror to be able to see the back of my head right now. Maybe something's being designed that will fix that problem, but again, we'll update that protocol when we get to it. So in the same way as to see physically what's going on from 365 degrees around us, we have tools. We can use mirrors, right? We can develop a sense of how far we can push our body from those falls. We can use our community, right? We can use our friends, we can use our coaches so that they can see us. That is what coaching is. Coaches literally, we are the mirror, right? Our job is to be the best possible mirror to show you your blind spots and to create that environment and share our experience so that you can use the right tools to move the blind spot, to make the blind spot smaller. Or to make the blind spot not a problem, right? You park your car, there's a blind spot. You don't need to not have a blind spot to park your car, right? We just need the mirrors and the trust, okay? So, trusting, for me, it is active. We actively build trust, or we are allowing trust to erode, okay? In your relationships, in your relationship with your business, in your relationship with your body, in your relationship with anything, trust is active, okay? So, curiosity versus expectation. Number one, how we do headstands, how we build a 3-day week. Number two, decide that it's possible it can happen, decide that it's possible it can be easy. Create the space to solve those problems. And number three, take responsibility for falling and also for trusting. Active trust, falls are opportunities, okay? Now, there are various other things that I could talk about, but I'm not going to do that. So if you are somebody who works for themselves and you're interested in the 3-day week, what I'm going to do is just share the screen with you and show you our model, okay? Just to give you an overview. Now, there are 3 parts to the 3-day week society. The first is this framework. And this framework, I want you to think about it as like the studio and having somebody explain, this is where you put your feet the first time, right? You go up the wall here. But after that, it's you. I can't make you fall. I mean, I can, but that's not very nice, right? I would have to shove you, and I'm not going to do that. Okay. I can create the space and give you the tools so that you are connected to your center of gravity. And I can help you to see that your edge is wider, it's bigger than you think. And I can help you and I can support you with the tools to constantly expand that edge, right? This is what I love about yoga and also working with our mind. They're very, very similar. So the first piece is this framework, which is the structure that I'm going to share with you now. The second piece is co-creating, coaching and co-creating. So we have these sessions, they're starting this Friday with our first one, and they're designed to get you from idea to action, to evaluation. Because what I notice is a lot of the people I work with, they will buy a course because they think the buying of the course will get them the result that they want. But they haven't checked in with what they actually want, right? We think we want money, but we don't. We want the freedom that we believe money will create. We think we want a 3-day week, but we don't if it means stress the rest of the week and thinking about it. What we want is to have a business that is supporting us and that helps us to have more energy and to have more life. And it's just part of our life, right? It's not heavy, it's light. It helps us to create energy. Okay. So, one of the things that we're doing is we're really focusing on making sure that you decide what you want from a place of authenticity, from a place of having a very clear, beautiful vision that is pulling you forward. Okay. And then we connect with different focus points that will take you closer. So each Friday, we will have a 20-minute minimalist business workshop where we'll look at something connected to your business. It might be how you're marketing, how you're delivering. It might be that this week the goal is to get 1 hour back for you by recording a video instead of doing a one-to-one session and experimenting with sending that out and looking at how you can increase your impact. Okay. Then we do 90 minutes of flow and glow working together. Oh, that's my oven. Okay. Chickpeas are ready. So then when we do the flow and glow working, this is one of the tools that I teach inside the Life Atelier. It's how you get amazing results in very short bursts of activity. And then we celebrate and we evaluate. So you take that action step and then you get the learning and the evaluation while we're all together. So you know, at least once a week, you will be taking an action step that moves your business forward. And then the third thing is building momentum and balance. This is the point of the community. So my priority right now is taking this first group of you, like my Avengers Assemble, supporting you in creating your 3-day weeks that embody ambitious joie de vivre. Okay. We do not want to create a 3-day week if you're miserable and stressed. The point is, I know I've done my job when people look at you and they're like, I'll have what she's having. Right? When you are glowing and you're like, yeah, like I finished my work by 9 a.m. and then I went up the mountain, right? Or I went for a dance class before I did my calls today. And you know that that is what creates your results. Then I've done my job. Okay. And then you are going to be the foundation for our next group that come in. You are going to be the people who normalize this, just as I had it normalized for me when I did my 15-hour work week mastermind. And at the start of that, I was working 6, 7 days a week, 7 days, let's be honest. I was working 7 days a week. Okay. And the idea of a 15-hour work week just seemed like zoom in camera if you're watching this on YouTube. It seemed insane. It seemed like if you told me we could go to Mars, right? But I wanted it. Oh, I wanted it. Okay. I wanted to have a life where I could be in the mountains every day with my dog. I wanted to be working with people that are exciting and that I want to support. I wanted to not think about work unless it was just this like lovely little anticipation of what's coming when I wasn't working. And I wanted to find love and I wanted to have friendships and have hobbies and speak multiple languages. And I didn't want to have that be a compromise on my business and my impact. Okay, so I'm just going to super quickly show you on the screen our initial framework. Okay, and you'll see that this is our dashboard. Now, I will explain this in another video so that you can just start to process today. If you've got questions about the 3-Day Week Society, then you can email me, you can DM me on Instagram, you can do lots of things. And if you don't have your own business, but you're like, I want that, like I want more of those things, we're also doing them in the Life Balance Studio. Okay, you're not left out, don't worry. But this space, the 3-Day Week Society, is focused on people who work for themselves, and it's focused on transforming the business that you have. All right, lovely humans, see you there.